It was good, y'all. It's your boy, Mr. Fritz Grizzly Gang in the building. I wanted to switch it up a little bit this time. I guess I wanted to show y'all the entire process of me doing a song. I figured it would be a different thing than what I've done before in the past, you know what I'm saying? So I did this song called Black Men Don't Cheat. And the funny story was I was about to drop it like 2 days before Charlamagne and them dropped theirs. So I was like, oh man, when I say I was tight, I was hella tight. They ended up dropping their song first, and I ended up not dropping it, but I figured that, I opened up the vault for some of my more unreleased stuff and, show y'all how I did everything. So I made this a few years ago in California, the beat anyway, because when I was in California, I guess you could say I was in a hyperbolic chamber, learning how to get better at making beats and mixing records and all this other stuff. And this is one of the results of it. As you can see, it's an older session because I'm still using FL Studio 10, which I got 20 on the main computer. As you can see, there's an older session. I'm still using FL Studio 10 on this computer. I got a bigger computer over here where I'm using 20, but I figure I'll show y'all the session in its original form instead of trying to import it over to FL 20. I'll be missing plugins or whatever. So this one I sampled Dee Dee Warwick, which is the sister to Dionne Warwick. R.I.P. to Dee Dee. It's called Everybody's Got to Believe in Somebody. When I found this record, I just couldn't get it out of my head. Classic soul record. Yeah, as you can see, when I chop up records, I chop them up like heavy duty because I try to use as much of it as possible. I ended up making like 2 or 3 beats off the sample anyway. I'll give y'all a little snippet. I don't know if I'm gonna get copyrighted, but I'm not even monetized yet anyway, so let's give it a little listen. For this beat, I went with a more traditional, old school boom bap type joint. I'll show y'all what I did. So for the intro, I chopped it up a whole bunch of different ways, and here's how it sounds so far. Yeah, there's a glitch in the old FLs. They fixed that in the new one, thank God, but yeah, don't mind the skipping. That's just a glitch in FL Studio. That was like the intro part. I made that part just for the intro. I didn't use it for a chorus or nothing. And I thought it sounded hella dope. Then I took the exact same chop and I put it in the mixer and I filtered the hell out of it. Ran it through Q1, which I ran through a low pass filter. I had distorted it a little bit with a Camel Crusher. I'm trying not to use this one anymore because it clips your sound and it distorts the hell out of it, but at this point, I was still using it a lot, and I really brought the bass out. Then I EQ'd to filter it out again, and I used R bass around 80 hertz to boost that frequency, and it came out like this. So, also, I'm going to show y'all what I did with the sample. So I used Camel Crusher again, like I said. Try not to use it as much anymore, but back then I was using it heavy. I used a tube warmth preset to, warm up the sample a little. The Pro Q2 just to cut out a little bit around 27K to give room for vocals, I think. I don't remember. This was like 3 years ago. This is a really dope free compressor. It's kind of like a lo-fi compressor, but it has this little dirt control, which if you press it, it makes it sound real dirty. But for this one, I didn't use it. I used a dirt control because I just like the way it sounded without it. A little fruity reverb, fruity love filter just for the intro, and this is an old school program, DB Glitch. There's a Glitch 2, but I haven't seen it in a minute. But I was using Glitch 1 since like 2008. So yeah, I did hella stuff to the sample just to make it sound more modern, and let's hear them both combine. Yeah, so I automated the love filter and faded in effect. I think it sounded really dope. As you can see, the bass in the sample got brought out a lot. So now we can go to the verse. I chopped it up completely different. It was a really easy loop for the verse. I didn't have to work as hard as I did for the intro. With the intro, I wanted to focus on having the sample speak for me, which I do on a lot of my beats. Like I chop up a sample and have the sample tell you whatever the theme of the song is or whatever the message of the song that I'm going to do is going to be. But for the verse part, I just wanted to make a dope loop with a dope melody for me to follow, and here's how I came. It was just 2 chops, really easy. So yeah, that's really easy to follow. I did the same thing with the bass filtering and the verse part that I did with the intro part, but I didn't want to do that for 16 bars. So I did a little variation part right here. It's pretty much the same minus one chop. That sounded cool. It was a small switch up, but sometimes that's all you need. But to go over that, I took a small part of that sample. I ran it through a delay, free delay, and it just goes like this. And then I threw that over the variation part just for a little switch up. That's how the sample chop goes. We'll play it all together. Oh yeah, and I did one more variation right here. Just another small change. It goes like this. For the drums, before I went to California, I never used to use drum breaks. Like I always wanted to build the drums all by myself and make my own patterns and stuff. Cause I never understood why people use drum breaks, but now I understand that there's a different swing to all those old drums. So I had this drum loop that I found. I ran it through some parallel compression, or as some people call it, New York compression. And they call it New York compression because what I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was because back in the early days of hip hop, they used to use drum breaks a lot more regularly than they do now. And they had to run it through New York compression or parallel compression in order for those drum breaks to sound more modernized and for all the frequencies to come out a lot heavier than they did back in the days when they had shitty equipment. So the way you do that is you run the drums through multiple channels, you compress the hell out of them in one channel, and you leave them uncompressed in the other channel like I did here. Like this one, I did a whole bunch of tweaking to, bring out the hi-hats and the snares in a cleaner way. I use a little wave shaper to make everything sound fatter. Then in the wet one, I use something called the M-Juck Junior, which I have the regular M-Juck now, but back then I only had the Junior because this is the free one. As you can see, I'm smashing the hell out of it. And when you combine them two together, you get the fullness of the drum break without killing the dynamics. And I, blended them up together. I put this one's not even doing anything, but I put this on the dry break to mix with the wet break just because I felt like without this, it's out of phase. And when your drums are out of phase, they don't hit as hard as they usually do. So I just put it on there just to put them back in phase. I don't know if I'm supposed to do that, but that's just what sounded good to me at the time. And this is the parallel channel where everything's coming out together. And the drums sound like this. Which that's not the original break. I just chopped it up to make the loop easier. And I just think it sounded way better with the sample. So you put everything together, that sounds like this. Alright, so now I'm going to take you all to the hook part. I did a little more chopping for that one. And I went to the same philosophy I did for the intro. I chopped the sample in a way that the sample's speaking for me. Kind of like an auto hook. The sample sounds like this for the hook. Yeah, I apologize again for all the glitches in the FL Studio. But yeah, this is one of my simpler beats. As you can see, without the parallel, it's maybe like 4 or 5 channels. I just had to do a little work to make the drum break sound fatter. And I didn't have a great mastering chain at the time. I only used the Clairphonic, which is the a good EQ for your master bus, but I could have did a lot more to make it fatter, but I'll update it when I show y'all what I did with the track.
She wanted me to be the Adam to Eve. At first I only wanted her to lose a leave. So fine, make me wanna pull up on a weave, but I rock a wife beater with my heart up on my sleeve. Legs on stallion, lips got me picturing the head so violent. Figure got me tripping, and whenever we would kick it, felt new like balance. She starts smiling, I'm so proud, and things became different. The girls ain't fuck with it, cause all them hate niggas is always fuck fritzin'. All up in the ear with that he say, she say. Now she throwing deuces when I come for the foreplay. Asking mad questions, got your boy stressing. Girl, you keep pressing and outguess the stepping in. On to the next, then I'm about to put you on to this lesson. Listen to me. Black men don't cheat. Is it them or is it me? Cause black men don't cheat. Every brother gonna agree. Black men don't cheat. Man, we be arguing. She always wants the last word. Like she wanna have the numbers to my passwords. I get a text and then she pray I leave. She tried to use my Twitter pictures on my Face ID. Her little cousin stayed watching. X-Man's plotting. Big had friends on the jack, they stalking. Swam at the mall with a groupie. Meanwhile, I'm chilling on the couch playing 2K. All I ever want is TLC, she said touche. A little food and liquor, she like, what did you, Lupe? Get mad at me smiling at any Keisha or Suze. She pressed, but either way, she still gave me that coochie. She went from you lane to saying, ooh babe. She hate me and she love me, she done fucked up her mood rings. But I'm saying true things, something like 2 Chainz. You gotta learn to trust me if we're still gonna do things. So what's it gonna be? Black men don't cheat. Is it them or is it me? Cause black men don't cheat. Every brother gonna agree. Black men don't cheat.